Here are the top stories for today, April 28, 2022. Localized lockdowns now loom as the threat of a surge in COVID-19 cases may be recorded. Authorities once again urge the public to get boosted against the virus. Health Department records over 40 close contacts of the first BA.2.1.2 Omicron variant from a Finnish woman who visited Quezon City and Baguio City. National Task Force Against COVID-19 assures adequate vaccine supply for the next administration. Metro Rail Transit 3 encourages the public to take advantage of their extended libreng sakay program. And President Rodrigo Duterte challenges drug smugglers and communist rebels to surrender, lest face consequences. Good day, I am Stephanie Sevillano. Welcome to the PNA Newsroom. A dramatic increase in coronavirus disease active cases now looms as the threat of 3 Omicron variants emerges according to the National Task Force Against COVID-19. Authorities again reminded the public to get boosted and resort not to complacency. More on this from Marita Buahe.
Sinesave namin yung aming mga PPE at mga gamit just in case magkaroon nga as predicted sa mid-May ng muling pagtaas ng mga cases. At ito ay isang posibilidad. Hopefully, being vaccinated will be the first defense na magagamit natin. Kung boosted tayo at vaccinated, less ang chance na mga ilangan ma-ospital.
The government is closely monitoring the possible spike of coronavirus cases by mid-May following the campaign-related mass gatherings and the emergence of Omicron sub-variants abroad. National Task Force Chief Implementer Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. said some areas may become vulnerable to the disease due to their very low vaccination coverage. The vaccines are added. The Omicron sublineages BA.4 and BA.5 variants were recently monitored in South Africa and Europe.
2 from South Africa and 1 in US. He predicted that with these 3 variants, it is very likely that at least 1 or even maybe all of these variants will hit the Philippines.
Galvez urged the public to get vaccinated and boosted as 95% of recorded COVID-19 fatalities were unvaccinated individuals. And with the threat of such variants, he admitted that COVID-19 uptick is very imminent.
There is no signs of alarm, but they are monitoring it. And with this, many experts predicted, including Octa, that mid-May, we will have a dramatic increase of new cases. Meaning COVID-19 is still here, we should not be complacent.
Meanwhile, Dr. Ted Herbosa said the country already knew how to respond to the threats of COVID-19 should there be an increase in COVID-19 cases. In the Laging Handa public briefing, Herbosa said the National Task Force considers localized lockdown.
Ibig sabihin nun, maliit na lugar lang. Kung talagang napakataas yung antas ng mga new cases sa isang barangay, yun lang ang ating ila-lockdown.
In case of COVID-19 surge, hospitals are ready to expand their capacities for COVID-19 patients. Earlier, the Octa Research Group said COVID-19 cases may reach as high as 5,000 to 10,000 a day if the new Omicron subvariants enter the country. For the PNA Newsroom, I am Marita Muahe.
The Health Department has already logged over 40 close contacts of the first detected BA.2.1.2 Omicron case in the country. Health Secretary Maria Rosario Vergeres said 44 individuals have been in close contact with a 52-year-old Finnish woman who arrived in the country from Finland on April 2. The majority of them were those who rode the same plane boarding to Manila, 9 in Quezon City where she visited a university and 5 in Baguio City where she went to conduct seminars. Authorities did not require her to undergo quarantine because she's fully vaccinated and arrived asymptomatic. However, 9 days after her arrival, she experienced headaches and sore throat and eventually tested positive for COVID-19. She's now fully recovered and has already gone back to Finland last week. COVID-19 patients can still cast their votes on May 9 polls according to the Commission on Elections. Public Commissioner George Garcia said they can vote in the designated isolation in the polling place, given they would wear face masks and face shields. This includes even those who are symptomatic during the election day, but he said they would respect those who will opt to waive their voting rights considering the safety of others. Meanwhile, Garcia also said the online precinct finder is not the sole source of voting details, as several voters have a hard time using the website. He said COMELEC has been ramping up the distribution of the voters' information sheet nationwide.
Pwede po, basta po sila ay papayagang makalabas po doon sa kung sila ay naka-isolate. Alam mo, lalo na kung sila ay nasa isang isolation facilities. Of course po, hindi namin po, wala po kaming guidelines kung saan yung balota ay dadalhin mismo sa isolation facility. Pero again, lahat po ng mga may nararamdaman na maaaring pong simptomas, makakaboto, hindi po namin sila pauuwiin.
The first day of local absentee voting went on very smoothly as some police and media personnel maximized their time to vote. COMELEC Commissioner George Garcia said in the Laging Handa public briefing that many have participated in the manual procedure. He noted that some 84,221 individuals were able to register for the local absentee voting, including military personnel and those who have election-related functions on May 9. Meanwhile, Garcia noted they have yet to receive explanations from contractors over concerns about the canceled presidential debates. Yet he hopes for the commission to release initial findings as early as tomorrow. The Commission on Elections and the Department of Energy assured the public of an adequate power supply for the nearing 2022 polls. COMELEC Commissioner George Garcia said they are closely coordinating with the DOE to ensure proper measures and backup plans. Electric service providers and power suppliers have also assured them of earlier maintenance check, causing several brownouts prior to May 9 polls to secure a full power capacity on the election day. Generators and solar panels are also being prepped as backup for typhoon-hit areas, while power sharing in between Luzon and Mindanao grids in case a shortage in supply occurs is also in place. Still ahead, vaccine czar Carlito Galvez Jr. assures there will be enough COVID-19 vaccines for the next administration. The MRT's Libreng Sakay program is extended until May 30. We're back after a quick break. Keep it here on the PNA Newsroom.
The COVID-19 pandemic has greatly changed our lives for the worse. Lives and jobs were lost and economies reached a meltdown. Thanks to the arrival of safe and effective vaccines, we are one step closer to normalcy. It's time to do our part, get vaccinated for our safety and for our recovery.
You are there in that community, go there and have yourself vaccinated by any of the vaccines available. They are all potent, they are all effective.
I would like to appeal to all our kababayans, please get vaccinated against COVID-19 and be the government partner in preventing further spread of the disease. I encourage you to get vaccinated as soon as possible time. These vaccines are safe and they are the key to reopening our society. The need for international solidarity and cooperation cannot be made clearer than this pandemic, because everyone is safe. No one is safe globally until everybody is safe.
Vaccines work.
Vaccine czar Secretary Carlito Galvez Jr. assures there are enough supplies of COVID-19 vaccines in the country. As such, He said there is no need to purchase additional jabs and that the expired vaccines will also be replaced by the COVAX facility.
So na matutuwa po ang next administration, Mr. President, dahil more or less 98 to 100 vaccine doses pa po ang matitira at hindi na po sila kailangan bumili.
Galvez meanwhile cited the need to fast-track the vaccination of booster shots to other vulnerable sectors such as healthcare workers, senior citizens, and persons with comorbidities. This as Galvez cited the possibility of another COVID-19 surge brought about by the emergence of new variants as well as the decline in the minimum health protocol compliance.
We are appealing to the EDSTAC to expedite the inclusion of the healthcare workers. Kasi pagka nag-uptick po tayo, kawa pa po ang ating healthcare workers. Pagkasama na po natin po ang seniors and other vulnerable sectors para po mapataas significantly ang ating pagbabakuna at mabigyan sila ng continuous protection bago magkaroon na tinatawag nating surge. We are also respectfully recommending to EDSTAC that they should also look and include the seafarers kasi kinakailangan po ng seafarers po natin at saka ng OFW na kailangan 4th dose na rin po sila.
The Health Department gears up for the immunization of at least 1 million kids who were not able to receive their annual vaccination. This year, the Department of Health or DOH wants to ensure the safety of the children by holding its Chiquiting Vaccination Days. Health Secretary Francisco Duque III says the nationwide vaccination program will administer vaccines against polio, measles, hepatitis B, pneumonia, and other vaccine-preventable diseases. The vaccination days will be held every last week of the months of April, May, and June. The DOH partners with the World Health Organization and the United Nations Children's Fund for this project. Baguio City and Apayao noted a slight increase in the number of COVID-19 cases. Health officials in the Cordillera are constantly monitoring the COVID-19 cases following an increase in the number of infections in the last 2 weeks. Karen Lonogan, chief of the Regional Epidemiology and Surveillance Unit, said the Cordillera region currently has 10 active cases, from 2 cases in the recent weeks. Lonogan said that while the cases statistics remain low, the drastic increase in cases is still notable. Lonogan said that they continue to pursue surveillance and contact tracing to ensure that possibly infected persons do not spread the virus, and that the healthcare resources are focused on severe cases. Lonogan assured the public that the Omicron sublineage BA.2.12 did not spread in Baguio or anywhere in the region. Commuters taking the MRT3 may still continue riding for free until May 30 under the extended libreng sakay program. All passengers are eligible to receive the free rides during all operating hours of the MRT3. The Department of Transportation and the Metro Rail Transit Line 3 said the program would continue helping commuters ease their financial burden amid the inflation and rising fuel prices. They said the extension will allow the MRT3 management to further test its capacity and performance. After the completion of the MRT3's rehabilitation, the trains now accommodate more than 350,000 passengers a day. They are now running at a maximum speed of 60 kilometers per hour, reducing waiting time between trains to 3 to 4 minutes from the previous 8 to 9 minutes. Overseas absentee voting in Shanghai has yet to start as the city remains on lockdown. The Philippine Consulate General in Shanghai is seeking permission from Shanghai authorities to allow the post to operate physically at least for absentee voting. Shanghai is on lockdown following the local government's stringent zero COVID-19 policy. Consul General Josel Ignacio said Filipinos have the option to cast their votes in foreign service posts that allow in-person voting, such as the Philippine consulates in Xiamen, Hong Kong, and Macau. He also reminded them to file their manifestation to vote in another post by April 30.
Sa ngayon po sa kasamaang palad ay sarado pa rin po ang ating presinto dito. Hindi po kami nakapagbukas mula nung April 10 at ang totoo po nun, mula nung katapusan ng Marso po, nung dumating yung election materials, ay hindi na po namin din nailabas mula sa customs dito. sapagkat nag-lockdown na nga po. Pero nakipag-ugnayan po tayo sa Shanghai Foreign Affairs Office para po very specifically, very categorically ask them na payagan magbukas ang konsulado, payagan makalabas ang mga botante natin. Subalit sa ngayon po, ang sagot nila ay dahil sa higpit ng lockdown at sa pangamba ng COVID ay hindi pa nila mapapayagan na makaboto.
The government is finding ways to ensure the plans to build a sustainable energy in the country will materialize. During the 3rd Philippine-Singapore Business and Investment Summit, Energy Undersecretary Felix William Fuentebella said the government is offering a $153 billion investment to Singaporean businesses and other foreign investors to finance the critical energy infrastructure projects in the country. He said about 80% of the total investment is for new power plants and transmission projects, while about 15% are for oil and gas exploration. More stories from the newsroom. President Duterte challenges drug smugglers and communist rebels to surrender or face consequences. And the town of Valencia, Negros Oriental promotes its homegrown dark chocolate. Details ahead, stay with the PNA Newsroom. President Rodrigo Duterte has called out drug smugglers and communist rebels to surrender or face the consequences of their crimes. In a speech in Cordova, Cebu, Duterte said surrender is the only acceptable compromise with drug smugglers and members of the New People's Army. He said that if they continue to resist arrest and fight back, authorities would have no choice but to shoot and kill them. Duterte again admitted that he was wrong to promise to end the country's drug problem in 3 to 6 months. He explained that it was only after he appointed now Senator Ronald De La Rosa as police chief when he discovered that some police officers and officials were involved in the drug trade. Duterte also reiterated his calls to the Commission on Human Rights to investigate the killings of police officers during legitimate anti-drug operations. He clarified that he did not order law enforcement officers to kill surrendering suspects.
Kayong mga NPA, kayong mga drogista, you want peace? You want, magtrabaho ka lang, then drop the gun. Kayong mga drogista, drop the drugs. Itapon mo yan at wala ka talagang problema sa akin. You just drop the drugs. You drop the gun, kayong mga NPA. Wala na tayong problema. Then let's build a country together.
At least 4 people died while 15 others were injured after a bridge in Loay Town, Bohol collapsed on Wednesday afternoon. Loay Mayor Hilario Ayuban Jr., who was on site to inspect the area, said He could not assess yet as to why the bridge collapsed. Several also vehicles fell into the river when the old bridge collapsed. The bridge was damaged during the 7.2 magnitude earthquake in 2013. Passes over the Lubok River, one of the two navigable rivers of Bohol. A new bridge worth 465 million pesos is expected to be completed this year. The Chinese government has donated 6 sets of fire trucks to war-torn Marawi City. Chinese Ambassador Wang Zilian was present in the signing of the Marawi Fire Trucks Donation Project with Foreign Affairs Undersecretary Maria Teresa Lazaro. Wang said the donation is part of Beijing's support for the Philippine government's Bangon Marawi Comprehensive Rehabilitation and Recovery Program. He hopes the Bureau of Fire Protection in Marawi City will provide a more efficient and effective fire safety response. He said this project will help contribute to the region's economic and social recovery and long-lasting peace and prosperity. About 10,000 vacancies will be available for job seekers at the Labor Day job fairs in Cebu and Dumaguete. The Department of Labor and Employment will organize a job fair on May 1 at the SM City Cebu Trade Hall in Cebu City and at the Lamberto Machas Sports Complex Capital Area in Dumaguete City. The Trabajo, Negosyo, Kabuhayan Jobs 2022 event will offer services from DOLE and its partner agencies to job seekers. In Cebu, close to 3,000 local positions and almost 6,000 overseas positions will be filled. In Negros Oriental, there will be more than 800 local positions and 600 job titles posted for overseas employment. DOLE urged job seekers to pre-register first online and bring their resume, curriculum vitae, and other credentials. The town of Valencia, Negros Oriental is seeking to get recognized as the home of quality homegrown dark chocolate. The local government unit of Valencia is pushing for its dark chocolate bar for the One Town, One Product project, or OTOP, of the Department of Trade and Industry. The proposed OTOP Mount Talinis chocolate bar will be a ready-to-eat confection of about 70% dark chocolate. The Baguette-based businessman Edward Du said a draft ordinance and a memorandum of agreement were presented for finalization. 11 associations of cacao farmers will undergo training and other processes once the project takes off. The project will be 100% Filipino with no foreign investors. Let's take another look at today's biggest stories. Localized lockdowns now loom as the threat of a surge in COVID-19 cases may be recorded. Authorities once again urge the public to get boosted against the virus. Health Department records over 40 close contacts of the first BA.2.12 Omicron variant from a Finnish woman who visited Quezon City and Baguio City. National Task Force Against COVID-19 assures adequate vaccine supply for the next administration. Metro Rail Transit 3 encourages the public to take advantage of their extended libreng sakay program. And President Rodrigo Duterte challenges drug smugglers and communist rebels to surrender, lest face consequences. As Filipinos, we all have a vital role to play in preventing the spread of COVID-19. So remember, wear face masks, wash your hands often, practice safe physical distancing, go out only for essential reasons, and get vaccinated as soon as possible to protect ourselves, our families, and the community. Together, we can beat COVID-19. Thank you for watching another episode of the PNA Newsroom. For more news content, check our webpage or log on to the Philippine News Agency's Facebook and Twitter accounts. For more stories about the government and how it serves Filipinos, look for these hashtags in all of our social media platforms and websites. We are shown on the pages of the PZOO and its attached agencies. Also watch us on television on PTV4 and IBC 13. And that's your daily dose of the biggest stories that you need to know from the PNA Newsroom. We tell stories that inspire change. I am Stephanie Civiliano. Good day.